Hello, how are you today? Do you want to dive into a book that might just surprise you, whether it becomes your next favorite or one you might skip? Let's find out what readers are saying about it.
Casey reads X1F338 who has 81 likes says, I could not put this one down. Two girls disappear within a couple weeks of each other and years later their two sisters team up to decide to finally figure out what happened to them. I did not expect the ending at all. I suspected tons of different scenarios throughout the book. But what really happened surprised me. I think this book was very well written. It was very exciting and I really enjoyed it. Surprise endings can sometimes be cheesy or feel rushed and forced. This one was done beautifully and I felt like this exact story could be something that happened in real life. Thank you to NetGalley for this free advance copy in exchange for an honest review. Mo reads Monique who has 12 likes says, two women haunted by their sisters' unsolved disappearances band together in this captivating mystery from the one New York Times best-selling author of All Good People Here and host of the one true crime podcast Crime Junkie. Sadly, for me, suspension of disbelief couldn't even begin to come into play here. What with all the heavy convolution and outright implausibility. The beginning started off so intriguing, but by the second half, the grip was completely, wholly lost on me. This wild sort of jacked up blender effect. How the story scattered into absolutely every direction possible. I mean, oof. It was just grossly overdone emo. Sorry. Big thanks to NetGalley and Random House Publishing Group Ballantine Bantam for this arc in exchange for review. I am always grateful. Pub date the 6th of May 2025. Chelsea thriller book Babe who has 10 likes says, thank you to Ashley Flowers, Penguin Audio, and Random House for my copy of The Missing Half. This book was about Nick, a girl who is missing her sister who vanished without a trace 7 years ago. She works a dead-end job, stays away from people, and numbs her pain with alcohol. Then one night Jenna shows up, the sister of another missing girl. She wants to team up with Nick to find their sisters because they disappeared in the same way around the same time. And even though she does not want to dig up the past, Nick knows she wants answers more than she wants to protect herself. Thoughts this story was full of twists and turns and connections. I liked the way the two girls' stories were linked together and the way Nick and Jenna teamed up. The story was about sisters and the bonds they have. It was also about how different girls are treated in the media and how some matter more than others. It was sad to see the destruction the two missing girls left in their wake. I thought the ending felt both rushed and a bit far-fetched. It didn't come together for me, which was disappointing. But the slow pace did start picking up throughout the book. If you are able to suspend belief and just want to follow the journey, I think you will enjoy this book. 3.5 stars for this twisted sister drama. Jonathan Brown who has 8 likes says, I received an advanced reader copy of this book via NetGalley in exchange for an honest review on my Goodreads page. This book is out May 6, 2025. The premise of this thriller had real potential years after one sister goes missing. Another woman with a similar story steps forward, and together they begin to unravel the mystery of their long-lost siblings. It's a setup that promises suspense and likely twists. Unfortunately, the execution didn't quite live up to the hype. The beginning felt rushed, making it hard to settle into the story or connect with the characters. As the plot progressed, I found myself hoping for surprising turns or jaw-dropping reveals, and admittedly, some readers may find them. But the narrative played out in a fairly predictable way in my opinion. The dialogue and overall writing style felt a bit flat, and the character development didn't do enough to make me fully invested in the outcome. While the concept was intriguing, this one just didn't quite hit the mark for me. That said, Readers who enjoy straightforward thrillers may find this one a great read, I am sure. Cheryl Carey, who has 14 likes, says, when a psychological thriller rushes to end, to give us a closing to what we have invested 6 hours or so caring about the propagandist, the victim, the victim's friends, families and lovers. This is probably my biggest pet peeve. Well, no worries here. Ashley Flowers slides easily into her ending explanation along with an incredibly huge twist. She took just the right amount of time to wind up her story. This storyline was so much different than her premiere novel All Good People Here. That novel had so many twists and turns, then turns and twists. This I felt likened itself to two strangers coming together to solve their sister's disappearances, morphing themselves into amateur private investigators. But not in a slapstick sort of way. It felt deeper, darker and more sophisticated than that. It took its time telling the background of the two young women who had disappeared quite some time before. The two protagonists often bumped heads while trying to agree on how to go about their investigation. I likened it to two rough grades of sandpaper rubbing against each other. They were determined to solve a mystery it seemed no one other than the two of them had an interest in. Strong character development is something I always appreciate in a book. The author did an incredible job, especially with the lead protagonist, Nick. She allowed us to see what ugliness is left behind when you lose a loved one, just disappearing and perhaps imagining they experienced a brutal end. This should have nothing to do with my review, but I spent my first 25 years in South Bend, Indiana, also known as a blending of several towns called Michiana. So it was exciting that the novel was set in Michiana. I recognized road names and a few landmarks in the book. I understand. The author still lives in South Bend. If you appreciate a thriller with strong character development, protagonist banter, including a rough relationship and a very twisted ending, I recommend reading The Missing Half. Thank you to NetGalley, Bantam Books and Ashley Flowers for the opportunity to read an advanced copy of this book.